AppSheet editor ready to go, and let's jump in. It's 10 o'clock. So this week is our AppSheet training weekly webinar. We're talking about our punch list app, and we're going to build it out for you guys live on YouTube. So our agenda today is we're going to build that construction punch list app. We're going to create the construction punch list app, and then we'll have time for live Q&A. So as we're like building this app out, make sure you guys are putting your questions in the chat, because Clark will be able to field those at the end of the build, and make sure we get all those questions answered, because there's a lot more in this app that we won't even have time to cover. And so if you're exploring the app, if you've explored the app before this webinar, or if you're exploring it like while we're live streaming and you have specific questions about certain parts of the app, throw those in the chat and we'll get those answered for you guys. All right. And so before we get started, we always want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for this video, Forms to Docs, a product of Paperwork Pros. So this is a rules-based document creation platform, and they capture information electronically in robust forms. They automatically generate those PDF reports for you with Word documents based on this information. You can store, edit, copy, and share these documents. You have unlimited user licensing, and it's risk-free. You can sign up for your free demo by going to Forms to Docs, and I'll throw the link in the chat, and it's also in the description below. We set you up with your first template, 90-day, no questions asked guarantee. These are great guys to work with. It's a product of Paperwork Pros, and again, the product is called Forms to Docs. And then I'll go ahead and throw that in the chat for you guys. And like we said before, we highly recommend this product and this company. They are members of the AppSheet community, and so they are definitely a part of the no-code space. And again, highly recommend this product, Paperworks Pros, and their product is called Forms to Docs. So here you guys go in the chat, and then also if you want to follow their link, if you're watching after the live stream, it's also in the description below. So thank you again, Forms to Docs, and it's a product of Paperworks Pros. Sorry. All right. gotta get that name right. Okay, so let's get into the construction app use case. Okay, so we are going to be building our punch list app. So what is a punch list? As I was doing my research, I looked through a couple different ways to write punch lists and what they're used for in the construction industry. And what I found was you have like general requirements, and then you have other specific categories that employees are going through and checking while they're building out the construction of a house or a custom build home, or whatever construction project they're trying to work on. And so this is a way to fulfill the contract and to make sure that all these items are getting checked and there's progress on them, and then they're getting completed and approved. And so it's just a way to fulfill the construction contract. And because of that, it's a pretty big process. And then as you can see, this is just a paper-based document right here. And so there's a couple problems with just using a paper document. One, you might not be able to assign it to a specific employee, and then there might be some miscommunication as emails are going out to send this document around, or the punch list items could change or they need to be updated. And so when you're just using a paper form, there could be, a couple different problems that come up, data entry, this, that, and the other. And so what we want to do is digitize this use case and create an AppSheet app, because it's super easy. And it's much better system. All the stakeholders will be able to understand what part of the process the company's in, and then everybody can be notified through email notifications. And then in this use case, we're going to use dynamic emails, so you can actually interact with the app inside of your Gmail inbox. So our use case today, we have our punch list app, and the goal is to create a punch list app for tracking contract fulfillment for the construction company. So, excuse me, the business process is to create projects and items, and employees need to complete those punch list items and then submit approvals to their supervisors. So the functional requirements that we'll be looking at today is document the punch list items and then view the status of an item for admin or even the client. and then be able to send automated emails. And so we're going to take a look at how to build that out with Clark in just a minute. And so why create a punch list app? So one of the main reasons why is because you want a digital version of a traditional punch list process. So when you're trying to build out a business process, it's always helpful to have an already set way that you're currently, running your business. And most businesses have this. So if you're in the construction industry, you probably already have a business process to fulfill, creating punch lists and approving them and all of that. And so what this does is it allows you to take a familiar process and digitize it so that way your employees are familiar with the workflow and it's easier and it's ready to be implemented quickly throughout your organization. And AppSheet allows employees to create this because they know the business process so well. You can just quickly create the spreadsheet and then link it up to AppSheet and then customize it for your specific use case. So that's why I really love using AppSheet to create these business processes, because for an employee who knows the business process really well, they can easily create a functional app for their company within minutes. And so this also helps with updating records seamlessly, centralizing the data so everybody involved knows what's going on with the punch list and the contract fulfillment. And again, all stakeholders will know about the process. All right. So how are we going to create this? So we got to structure the database. And the way we did this is we created a punch list table, a user table, a project table, a client table, and an item table. Now you'll notice there's no user table in our data set. That's because in our previous webinar, we built our user table on our construction app suite. So that way every app that's linked to the construction app suite is using the same user table. That way the app isn't confused of like, oh, this user is not in this app, but it's in this one. And so we're using all of the information from the app suite to fill that user table. So this app has two data sets, essentially. It has the construction app suite database as well as our punch list database. And you'll see that as Clark builds it out. So once we have the data structured, then we'll just simply connect it to AppSheet. And then from there, it's just customizing for your specific use case. All right, so here's a kind of bird's eye view of the tables and then all the columns. There's a lot more columns in this one because it's collecting a bunch of punch list information. But Clark will go into how to create this and what's in each of these specific tables. All right, so let's do a quick AppSheet demo. So if you need access to this app, if you don't have it already, one, it's in the description below, and you can see this quick reference guide. And then you're just going to copy and customize it, and you can access this app through this link right here. And once you're there, you can copy and customize it, and this is our punch list app. So it's super easy to use. We've got our projects here, we've got our punch list items here, and then we have like an admin view. And most of the time I like to look at it in the tablet mode for this view. It presents the data a little bit better, but you can see if I can get the scroll wheel to work. Okay, here we go. So we can filter it by user. So if I need to see just my projects, I can click on my name, and then I'm assigned the custom home project, and then I can see all of the data that I need to get started on. And then I can just quickly say, yep, this one's in progress. So now I have the status showing that I have 4 projects in progress. You can also drill down into these if you wanted to. Well, let's say I need to look at Clark's projects. I can click on his, and then we can filter what projects he's working on. So he's completed 2 projects, and he hasn't started on 2 of them, and then he's got 2 in progress. So we'll say he's working on another one. So there we go. He's got 3 in progress now. So it's just really easy way to create a more efficient process for the punch list business process. Okay, so let's go back to, our projects table, and then we're gonna switch this back to mobile view. And with this one, this is really helpful for admin. If you have multiple projects, but you have different requirements for each punch list or for each contract, you can create another project. And this is loading information into the custom home build, and it's going to assign it to the project lead for this specific project. And so inside here, it auto-filled our custom home and who it's assigned to. And then I could give some details of the punch list item that I need to check, and then record it. And it puts the due date at least 3 days in advance, and then has a status as not started. And then you can save it if you would like. And then to add a new project, you just simply click the add button and add all of that information in. We will look at this one because it already has the information loaded, and you can see it has the project name, a picture of the home, and then we can see all the related punch list items there, and then who it's assigned to, the architect, and then the owner of the home. And so all parties, all stakeholders know what's going on. So that way the process and the project gets completed on time and everybody feels good about what's going on. All right. So that's a quick view of our app and what we're going to be building today. And so you guys have access to it. It's in the description below. And next, I'm going to hand it off to Clark so he can have enough time to show you guys how to build this.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Austin. That was a pretty good introduction to this application. I'm pretty excited. As he said, there are a lot of things in this application. So I will be doing my best to push through them quickly and effectively and efficiently. So if I don't answer your question immediately, I apologize. Know that we will be answering all questions at the end, unless it's something that's necessary. I don't mind stopping. Yeah. But cool. Let me share my stuff. So what we have here, obviously this is an application called Punchlist App. This is a copy of the one that you guys have all received. It's also in the description, like he said. But I've deleted all the basically useful parts of this application. So we're going to be creating that on the fly as we go, so that you can kind of see the reasoning behind things and whatnot. I did want to show you kind of the data structure just really briefly. So we have punch list, project, item, and client. As always, we try to color code things. If you are newer to AppSheet, I definitely recommend doing this stuff. It just makes it nice and easy to kind of remember, where you're at, where you're trying to be. So we have our primary key here. We have our foreign keys here. Same thing on the other tables as well. This item table has an ID and an item type. Technically, we don't need this ID column technically, but best practice is just always to have one, so I don't mind it being there. And then, like you said, we do have our user table in the other sheet. I was looking at this a second ago, and I did see this Lenucher. So nice job there. Great job naming the tables, Austin. So all of you, if you do copy this app, you will be getting a copy of Lenucher. And then we have our user table, like you said. One thing that I do recommend that I didn't tell Austin about, but one thing that I do recommend for the employee role, the user role, if I'm using the same user table for multiple different applications, I actually like to have multiple user role columns, right? So for this one, we might have construction equipment. I don't know. Right. And then on this one, we'll have payroll. Payroll role. And so what this does is it allows you to actually be able to filter by multiple different things when you're needing to have admins for some things and not admins for another. So like if you have an HR personnel, they're going to be an admin on the payroll app, but they are not going to need admin status, admin privileges for the construction equipment app, right? And so that's really all that is.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
I do like to do that for most of my apps most of my app suites.
Yeah,
I should say. It's just nice and easy. So next, we're going to talk about some views. Let me actually show you guys this in here. So you did see those refs. There isn't anything too crazy in our data structure. We do have this thumbnail here. Pretty basic thing right there. We have a concatenate. This is one that AppSheet already creates for us. I think punch list is the one that has some weird stuff. So we have a couple show if expressions, a couple initial values, and then a couple virtual columns, which I don't even think we use these virtual columns, to be honest, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer. I think we were testing stuff. But, and then one more show if. So context is not equal form. Right. Yeah, that's basically it. Pretty simple data structure, honestly. No slices. I don't think we're going to be doing any slices today, if I remember from my notes.
Yeah.
No slices today. Today we're going to be creating, I think, 4 or 5 different views. No, let's see. One of those is a dashboard with bunch. So I think we're making 7 views. We're going to be making a couple actions, and then we're also going to be making a couple automations. So that's why we're going to be booking through this. So first thing, like he said, this is going to be a punch list app. This is going to be basically saying when a job is completed, when it's not completed, what things still need to be done on a said job before it can be marked completed. And so that's going to be that punch list. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just start booking through this and creating some views. So first view I have on here is just going to be our punch list. I believe.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a form view. It's going to be on the project table. No, it's going to be on the punch list table. I wrote punch list to project, so I'm not sure why I did that.
Yeah, it's so we can from the projects view they can.
For the link to view.
Yeah, link to form.
Link to form, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be our punch list view. This is going to be a form type, and we'll probably mess with some of the column order just a little bit, but I think overall it should be fine. I like to do tabs when possible because I really like having titles, people being able to kind of sift through those really quickly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our punch list. Then we're going to have our, let's do our team view. So I believe we've done a couple of these before in previous webinars, but the team view is just going to be our team. It's just going to be the users in the application. And then we typically recommend just a simple deck view for these. They're pretty simple. You usually don't need too much information. So that's pretty nice. And then let's have a phone number. Thank you for not putting our real phone numbers, Austin.
You're welcome.
That. I was honestly like 10% scared. Cool. So that's going to be our team view. Then we're going to have our projects view. So this is going to also be a deck view. I think all of the views in the dashboard are going to be deck views. As Austin said, he does like the action bar. If it were up to me, I would be doing a card view with those. But I do think that these can be pretty nice and useful.
Yeah. How do you, if you did use a card view, how would you show and hide the actions?
For
like when the status changes for each of those punch list items, how would you, if you use the card view, how would it show and hide those action buttons?
Well, so the card views don't actually have a an action bar, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they do have this like this, and so you're able to kind of click into it. You can still show and hide actions based on those conditions.
Yeah.
So they just wouldn't show up in the drop-down menus. To me, I just think it looks cleaner not having the action bar and just having the 3 dots on the side. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But this is Austin's app, so we're going to do it his way. Cool. All right. So we have projects, punch list team.
How many actions can you put in the 3 dots section? Can you in the card?
I honestly don't
Is it?
know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's unlimited or if it's just.
I'm pretty sure you can have a bunch.
Okay.
We're gonna do some live testing right now. So this is on the punch list. What do you think? Maybe let's start with like 10.
Clark.
Sorry if that made anyone else dizzy. So now we have all these cool actions. Let's find out. So if I have this view, let's put it back to a card view. All right, it doesn't like it.
What happened?
Sometimes. Oh, it's probably because it's on the onboarding.
Oh, it's on the onboarding. I see.
Oh, right.
Your actions aren't doing anything, or what?
Let's do Man, I really don't want to change all these.
Yeah, I think let's just keep going, and then if we have time, we can come back to that. It was just a thought I had.
Well, I'm here, man. You got me interested now. I want to know the secret, the meaning of life. Okay, so let's do a list. So it looks like 3.
Yeah.
Looks like 3 is the magic number, which I was unaware of. I honestly thought there were more.
That's the main reason why I like the deck view.
It's because you can have a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then you can just show and hide the ones that they need to click on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we did our team, we did our projects, we have our punch list, which we need one more. This is also going to be a deck view. Punch list. I actually want this one to be form. Okay. And then one more, we have our status. For this one, we actually did a chart view with a nice aggregate donut chart. And this should be off the punch list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we'll save that. Almost there. We got punch list. Okay. Now the last view that we're going to make is going to be, we're going to call it punch list automation view. Oh man, struggle.
Yeah.
So punch list automation view. If you haven't used a dynamic email before, I actually kind of like them. They can be really, really cool. Whenever they were first coming out, I was expecting a lot of bugs, which they had a couple. I'm not going to lie to you. They had a couple. But for the most part, they've been pretty squared away.
Yeah.
So they're pretty nice. But basically what a dynamic email is it allows you to send a view, like an actual view of your AppSheet app to someone in an email. And that view obviously changes with the data. So if I changed Austin Skidmore from assigned to the created by, like that's going to show up in the email live. It resyncs every single time you refresh that email, which I think is really, really cool and very, very useful.
Yeah.
But we'll get into kind of how to do that once we get back into that automation space.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the dynamic emails, it showed me how email automations work. It's like, because that was a really confusing concept for me when I was first building out AppSheet apps, especially like creating templates. But with dynamic emails, you don't have to worry about the templates. You can just send a view. And so it's a lot more visual for those of us that don't come from a traditional coding background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also was talking. I did create a dashboard view for us. If you didn't already know, I love dashboard views. I think they're so awesome.
Nice.
This is supposed to be on status. Yeah. So, like he was showing you before, um, this is our status column, and so we have those three there. And then I also almost always like to show a legend. I think that legends are very, very useful. And then now let's clean up some of this stuff. So let's see. I have 6 views at the bottom. Huh. It used to be you could only have 5. I honestly don't know when they changed that.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to keep. I'm going to make this automation view a ref because we don't really need to see that one. This punch list form, I'm also going to make a ref. Our team view, I'm going to put in the menu. I think that should be it.
Yeah, that looks right now.
Then, if you don't put icons, shame on you. And of course, we all know that my 2 favorites are going to be the Batman or the dragon one. So I'm going to go ahead and put that dragon on there. Cool. So now we have our punch list. This is going to be a ref, and our team is in the menu. Yeah. Cool. So that's going to be our views for this. As you can already tell, I just kept the brand the same from that copy. We have that dark theme. We have a special yellow color that Austin likes for some reason.
Dude, that's AppSheet training yellow.
Just kidding. There's a couple format rules in here. I don't think that they're like on, but I don't think they actually do anything. Like I think this just changes it just literally just makes it bold. That's all this does for that project. And then our thumbnail, this changes our thumbnail. If we go to our team view, we have these yellow thumbnails. We can change that with this here. So I'm going to put this back to where you have it because otherwise you're going to yell at me. Cool. So now that we have our views, if you remember correctly, we were going to add a link to form action so that we could get to that punch list form. So I'm going to go ahead and make that action. I like to do a brief description of what the action is, and then punch list form. Okay, this is going to be on our projects table, and then we're going to go to another view within this app. Okay. Now, if you haven't used deep links before, these are also game changers. We've made a couple videos on them. So if you have any questions, you can watch those, or you can add a comment on this video, and we should be able to help you out. But we're going to do a link to form here. The documentation or the syntax for this is the view name, which I believe should be punch list form. I think I did it like this actually.
Oh, hey Clark, can you zoom in a little bit on your screen?
Yeah.
Sweet.
How does that look?
Yeah, I think that's good. Thank you.
All right, so we have punch list form here, and then we have now with link to form, you're going to add column value pairs. So as you can see down here, we're going to have column name 1 and then the column value 1. So how I like to think about it is destination first and then your input. So your destination is always going to be in those double quotes. So if I look at my schema we're on the punch list table, I believe let's see.
Yeah, we need to fill the project ID and the assigned to
ID. And this should just be our project name, I think. No, just ID. Okay. So, like I said, this is to the punch list table. This is from the project table. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one we needed was the
sorry, the assigned to
assigned
column.
to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is going to be the project manager.
Yeah. So the reason why I did it this way is because, let's say, for another use case, if you have an app that you're making projects for and you want the data to, fill in for your employees so that there's not like an error in the data entry, then this is an easy way to just like autofill from the current project,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
whatever you need data to fill in. If it's already in there, take care of that step um, as you're developing the app, so that way the information's there. You're not having to redo data entry.
Yeah, for sure. So I went ahead and I changed this deck view to just include the two actions that I wanted. So on this, I'm just going to have edit and then that link to form punch list form. And I'm also going to change the name of this in its display because that sounds terrible. Add new punch list.
Nice.
So you can do a text or you can do a formula, however you want to do it. But now whenever I scroll over it, it is not going to say that link to LTF. So let's zoom out one more. How's my screen look, Austin? Pretty good still?
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be our first action. We've got 4 more that we want to do. These are all just going to be very simple. Changing the value in a column. So we've got a couple in progress. This is going to be on the punch list table, and we're going to change our status to in progress. Okay. And then I think we also have some conditions for these.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is where that show and hide feature comes in handy for the deck view. Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So for this one, we are going to have our status, and then this is for in progress. So the only one that we want this to say is does not equal started.
Not started. It should be not started.
Should be not started.
Yeah.
Does not equal not started. Cool.
Sweet.
I don't think that that's correct, actually. I think that you're wrong.
On the enum, I think it's not. It should be. I usually say not started. Yeah.
Right, but I have does not equal.
Oh.
I guess you're probably right. We probably need equals that.
Yeah.
Equals not started because we only want to show. We want them to go one at a time. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So how I was doing it with does not equal, that means it would show the other 3 actions, and then with this way, it's just going to show the next one in the order.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you're right. I think that's actually probably better. So in progress, I'm just going to make a copy of this because it's quicker. And we're going to do complete. So same basic principle here, complete. And then we're going to change this condition to in progress. Comma. Status is equal to make changes. So only time this action is ever going to show up is if these 2 statements, one of these 2 statements is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do one more. We have our approved. Same thing on punch list. This is going to be set to approved. And then this one, oh, and we actually have two columns here. So we have an approval by, and so whoever clicks that button is going to be the one who is put in here. So we want that user email to be that expression. And then this one should be complete. Once a punch list item has been completed, it will then be sent to a project manager or someone high above, and they're going to take a look and approve that completion. So that's what that is. Let's make one more copy. This is going to be to make changes. Okay. And then this one is status equals complete. Okay. So I'm going to go back to that projects view here, and I'm going to make sure that these are added in to my actions. So we should have 4 of these. Wait, are these on? Oh, these are on the. Sorry. These should,
yeah, they're on the punch list table.
They're on the punch list table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we're good. We don't have to do that. Cool. So that's gonna be our actions for this application. I know that I breezed through those pretty quickly, but hopefully I didn't lose anybody too badly. If you have any questions, feel free to post those. Okay, so now, like I said, we are going to add those automations. So there's going to be 3 of them, right? So we want one that is, it happens when you, when someone approves a punch list. You have one that sends out when a punch list is marked completed, and you have another one that is marked, that is when punch list has make changes as they're statusing them. So we're just going to create a bot. As you guys may know, I like to always have custom bots because I like to be able to do everything myself and make sure that it's right. So we're going to have just an approved bot. This is going to happen on ads and updates, just in case. Technically, you could just do this on updates because I seriously doubt they're ever going to add a punch list and it already be completed or approved. Approved. So 2 things that we need here. Status. Sorry, this should be does not equal. This row dot status. Oh, sorry. Man, I cannot type today. So what this statement says is whatever is in the status column before does not equal what it happens, what it is after. So we're going to do that, and then the last thing we need. This is for approved. Status equals approved. Oops. So the reason why we have to do it this way, if we only had the condition of status equals approved, anytime anything happens to that row, because it's on ads and updates, it's going to resend this email, right? We don't want that. We want this to be a one-time send. And so that's why that
Nice.
this row before, this row after.
Thank you for that explanation, because I always wondered. I knew I was supposed to put that in there, but I didn't really know why. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I know this is important.
That's
to
why.
put in there. Okay.
Otherwise, every single time that row is updated, let's say even if you just hit an action button that just changes something, the count of something, right? It's going to resend those emails. So I like to add these to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So let's add a step. I definitely saved this before doing this. So that's my bad. And for the sake of time, we're gonna make this pretty quick. I don't want to go too far in depth.
Yeah, I want to have some. We'll probably
Email.
just do this one automation, Clark, and then go into live Q&A.
Cool.
That way we have enough time to wrap up the webinar.
Makes sense to me.
Sweet.
So we have embedded app view. That's different than what it used to be called. That's cool.
Oh, it's not called dynamic email anymore?
I'm pretty sure it was called dynamic email yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they changed what this functionality is called. It's now called embedded app view.
What is the info? What does the info thing say? If you hover over it, what does that say?
It's the same thing.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, they literally just changed the name and they added a cool icon. I think the difference is they also added this custom template. So these are two buttons that they've added within the last 24 hours, I guess.
Wow.
I'm 95% sure I didn't see those yesterday.
Yeah, I have not seen those yet either.
So, but we just have something that goes here. So this is going to send to, I think, the project manager. Which I believe is a reference. Oh, assigned to. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is going to send to assigned to, just like that. And that's pretty much it for that. So if you didn't see it, I might have just done it and not said anything. Like I said, we clicked on this embedded app view, and then at the bottom now, this is where our where we specify what view we want. So this is going to be our punch list automation view, which we need to also.
Oh yeah, add those conditionals at the end.
Add some quick edit columns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Status, description. Approval notes, and that's it actually.
Yeah, so I really like using detail view for the dynamic emails. You can also use form view, but if you want to add pictures and stuff into your dynamic emails, the detail view works great.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's just a lot cleaner, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost always use detail views for those.
And you can have the action buttons.
And you can have action buttons. That's right.
Yeah.
So pretty neat stuff there. Like we said, we have two more. I'm going to call these what they're supposed to be called, but we're just going to.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and move into live Q&A? If you guys want to start entering your questions in the chat, what questions did you have about this app and how to make some of these features into your own apps? And Clark is ready for your answers, and we'll have about say we have about 5 minutes for live Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for us, go ahead and throw them in the chat and let us know what you thought of the punch list app.
Yeah. So I did see this question at 10 a.m. So sorry, we've waited. Still waiting on the refresh of the new dashboard view. Not completely sure what you were talking about. I know that there's a rumor of some stuff, some UI updates, or some UX updates of AppSheet, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So I'm not sure if that's what you were talking about, DJ Flex Kid.
Nice.
But yeah, Seatcast, hello, nice to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Last week. Here's that zoom in.
Yes.
Appreciate that feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting on questions. I'm gonna add these other two bots. Otherwise, it's gonna bug me.
Yeah. Let's see if I had any questions for the app build. What was one thing I was wondering about? DJ Flex Kid said, "Peace." Nice. I don't know. Thought it was a good demo, Clark. I thought you did a great job. You went through the whole app and even explained some things that like the format rules and stuff. So that was great. I really enjoyed the demo, and I always like seeing the data structure and then how you guys as developers think about mapping out that data structure and visualizing it through the app. So
Right.
yeah, great job. All right. Well, if there are no questions, okay. So Ken P said he's gonna have to go back and watch. That way he can catch all the pieces. I totally understand. Yeah, we were talking beforehand of like there's going to be a lot of information, so you may have to go back and rewatch this webinar because there's just so much stuff that we wanted to pack in for this punch list app, so that way you guys knew how to use the app and as well as build some of those components out if you wanted to add these features into your own workflows.
Yeah. For transparency, Austin made this app a while back, and he probably spent like 40 hours making all these things. And yesterday he called me up and said, "Hey, I want you to show this app off."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, we gotta cut some stuff."
Yeah. It was fun though, because it was like, oh yeah, I see how this can get overly complicated, and it was fun to like trim out some of the things so that we could give you guys what you needed to see. Oh, nice. Yeah, DJ Flex Kid said he liked the explanation of the status expression. He's had a problem with that recently.
Oh, yeah, with this row before, this row after. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is a game changer. That is an awesome expression. I typically only use those in bots. I'm pretty sure that should be the only place you can use it realistically.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining the live stream. We're going to go ahead and switch gears a little bit and review what we covered today. So in this week's webinar, we looked at a punch list app use case, and then Clark showed us how to build out this punch list app. And then we had a few minutes for live Q&A. We had a lot of content to cover. So I know some of y'all probably have some questions, but you're just thinking about what all we covered. And so definitely take the time to rewatch the video if you need to, and then just post in the comment section in the chat or in the comments section of YouTube. And then we can answer those questions as you guys are commenting down below.